It's been a while since Bear's been on camera. I finally found my camera after tearing my rig apart looking for the TV remote, which I still haven't found. Fly-happy as ever. So I figured I'd take a sunset walk and show you the progress on the orchard trees, which we will be taking cuttings from while they go on patrol. Taking cuttings from and rooting. And see, it doesn't look to me like the strawberries are going to make it. I just keep planting. This is just cardboard. Nothing's planted here, but underneath we have some strawberry starts that I did just as a kind of an experiment, really, to see if they could get things in the ground in, well, frankly, late August. But the figs that we thought were totally dead have figs on them. So these were all down. Most of these had no sign of life whatsoever. This one I was sure was dead. It just didn't even have a root ball on it, but it does. And looks like our comfrey is blooming. A little comfrey, some thyme. There's a bee balm that's struggling. I don't think that's going to come back, but we'll see. But the trees now all have cages on them. Planted that mimosa. This little guy, mimosas are nitrogen fixers. So I planted a little bitty guy. He was 3 inches tall. And now he's about 3.5 feet. And hadn't been watered. There's another one I planted somewhere else doing the same thing. So they're perfectly fine. And then when you look at this tree ring, you can see I still haven't put in the fresh soil. So I'm using compost, really, as mulch. This guy's got a lot of stems on him that can be trimmed and trained. It doesn't look like he has any figs. Well, he has a couple. That one, where Maestro is, also back from the dead. Got some pretty good sized figs on them. They're doing pretty good. So I still need to get in there and weed that out. But all the other trees are doing just fine out across the way. And the satsumas, that all of them were dead. In fact, we're not all dead, but we are going to try and graft good satsumas onto the root stock here. Like, you barely make it out with this camera. This camera's great for wide shots, but not for little detail shots. But yeah, so we'll be grafting over the winter onto all of these satsumas. And if you're not from the south and you don't know what a satsuma is, it's basically the little super sweet clementines, but they're technically oranges. They're not tangerines. Anyway, and I'll go back the other way. Gorgeous sunsets coming in. I don't know if you can tell how pretty that is. See? At least to my eye, you can't see it on this video screen. I have to take that with the iPhone to get that shot. Anyway, the cattle are doing great on the other side of the pasture right now. She's got it opened up, all 3 pastures, because the rain has slowed, so the grass has slowed. And to that end, they've had their bales delivered. Since I moved my rig, there is no longer a water source. This was my gray water processing plant, and so some things have died. They're just struggling. Though the lavender seems to be doing just fine, which makes sense because this does not get watered and this oak tree sucks up all the water. But it is reseeding itself throughout there, so great. Some lavender propagation, that's wonderful, because everything I've done from seed in this climate has been horrible. Can't get the lavender to start to save my life. And we know I don't have a problem growing things. I've never had a problem growing things. It's my other mimosa right over there. Bales of hay for the winter, or for when it slows down. There's only 4 of them, but hopefully all 3 of those heifers are actually pregnant, so there will be more. This is the current project, and I'm waiting ever so patiently. I have to separate the twigs so I can make thatch, and we'll go over that in a minute. But all of the massive bamboo, if you look there, you can see sticking way up in the sky. It's like a 22-foot pole. They're huge. But anyway, we found a lovely bamboo grove, and so we've been harvesting timber bamboo, and I've been laying it out and letting the sun beat down on it. It was raining earlier, so I've got it covered right now. But it's taking forever to drop the leaves off all the bracts. Anyway, so we take the bracts off, collect them in a pile, let the sun bleach them out, dry them out, separate the twigs and the leaves. The leaves then are getting taken back to the giant blueberries as mulch, just to keep the weeds out, because they are allelopathic to young plants, but they are fine for older. Our grapevines are just now starting. This one's going great guns. They were basically ignored, but we got all the bamboo that we processed up. That's the top of our grape arbor. And then this is our stockpile, if you will, of timber bamboo that is drying, because it has to be dry really before you use it for any kind of weight. But you can see it's quite tall, but it's really thick. I mean, this thing is massive. That's my hand. Yeah. So anyway, for a while there, we were sticking the bamboo in here, and this is a wild muskmelon. We thought maybe that it was going to be the squash that we put seeds in. Well, they did pop up, but then they very quickly died. And this muskmelon is coming back with a vengeance. This is one plant that I have piled on itself. It took over the whole thing and was coming out, and piled it all on itself, yanked at it. I have no idea. Somewhere over here is its base. I don't know. But anyway, you can see where the bamboo leaves are. The weeds do not really grow. So it was a little bit thinner in the back, and I have just gone through and pulled out some of those branches, because I want to use them for the thatch. But this will be fine for the pigs. They've got bedding, good to go when we get pigs again. I don't do it in the summer because they smell terrible. Anyway, this is another basket full of bamboo yet to be processed. I have a feeling I'm going to have to pull that out to get it to let go of the leaves. But the garden, this bed in front of us, was where the okra was. And we just took that out like 3 days ago. And this is all perennial stock flowers that will be for bees and for the garden. And beyond that, she's just finished rooting up all of that. That was also an okra bed. Behind that is zucchini and basil and buttercup and butternut squash. A layer of zinnias. Beyond that are the jalapenos and more squash. On the other side of that are the habaneros. Everything's still going great guns. Did have found that the shade cloth, when it's going to be extraordinarily hot here, the plants respond to just a little bit of shade, and those are 80% shade block. I have 2 of them, but when the wind picks up, it wants to take off with them. And you can see the scarecrow made it in. This bed is a cover crop on the right. This was all watermelons, and you can see the watermelons have crept out over here, but because we grew cucumbers at the same time, we're not going to eat those watermelons because they're going to taste like cucumber. because they've been cross-pollinated. So that's just nasty. I hate cucumbers. Sorry, Shelby. Anyway, the cover crop is the radishes and turnips, and they're being allowed to go to seed so they can reseed the bed. But in the meantime, we picked up, now we have meat rabbits. That's new. Oh, if I can get in the gate, there we go. Anyway, I'm waiting for the sunset to get really pretty for you, but anything that we're not going to eat will end up going to the animals anyway. So there's plenty of watermelons in here. They're all throughout. Those will still feed animals that will then feed us. You know, chickens eat watermelons that taste like cucumbers. They don't care. Yeah. This is, again, with the watermelons. I had this bed completely cleared, and these guys were dying. But when I cleared the bed, you can see what happened. They took over. And there's one remaining okra, which I don't think either one of us realized was still there. Oh well. The strawberries as ground cover have been thinned and planted up for propagation purposes twice, and they have still managed to pretty much block the weeds. The weeds are really in the walkways because we both hate mowing. It's a push mower that does not have self-propel, so it'll kill your soul. This we have opened up, and this is the food forest going in. So we have put down the lasagna layer just to block the grass that wants to grow in these beds. So it'll be lined up this way, so it's catching the water as it comes down the hill, and yet letting it go. So that's the plan there. The trees are doing pretty good, but it is definitely time to treat with copper fungicide. I've just been too hot or too busy, or too damn lazy, honestly. Busy or lazy, pick one. When it's hot, I don't want to do anything. The dome is going up. That's what all that bamboo is for, the thatching. So we're putting up the sides in here. This thing is 14 feet wide. And then to block the water and the sun, we're doing thatching all the way up. We're going to leave this backside open because it never sees the sun, and just have the view of the pond and that lovely tree and the bee boxes back there. Be kind of a gathering place. We can even put a fire pit right here in the middle, because that roof line is way up there. We should still be fine. Just do like a little contained fire pit. Should be cool. The arch is refusing to let go of its leaves. That's privet and oak tree. Note to self, don't build with privet if you don't strip off the leaves first. It takes forever for the sun to bake it off. This is our propagation table now under the apple tree. And these are the bunnies. So now we have rabbits, and they get to eat. What are you eating? Oh, you've got a little bit of radish. Hi, babe. How are you? So she's a California, and she's a New Zealand. And I forget what he is, but he's beautiful. This is Mama and Baby. I don't know if you can see the baby. Hi, baby. I guess it's pretty dark in here. These two are fairly timid. He's apparently the biggest squish, the friendliest one. Although I think she is. She's very concerned all the time. All the time. She's cute. Yeah. Anyway, so rabbit food, rabbits. Cow food, cows. Chicken food, chickens. Chickens are over there. I just gave them some popcorn because I was bored with it. You wouldn't think that would ever happen with me, but I got bored with popcorn. Who knew? And hello, the apple tree is blooming. The fruit came out in June, and it's blooming again. It's not going to have time to actually set fruit, but it could if it wanted to. Hi, buddy. Anyway, bees are doing good. I mean, they are cranking honey. And some other time I'll take you out to the blueberries and mayhaws that's now cleaned up. This is the secondary chicken run that we are planning on planting chicken plants in, and then see where she's coming in and out. That's we're planning on being able to make it so that they can come in for like an hour so they don't destroy the whole thing. But there's a lot of them. I think they could do pretty much damage in an hour. I'm sorry, girls. You had all their popcorn. You had it all. You did. It's all gone. Need to get in there and clean up this tree. There's a volunteer tree, and it is a tallow tree. And it should be upright, but it is as flopsy-mopsy as it gets. And we have pruned it back hard. We have strapped it together, and it is still falling on the ground. So it's going to get a good whacking very soon here. Hey, leave it. I know, the chickens are fascinating. I know. So anyway, that's where that's at. And sorry it's taking so long. I couldn't find the camera. Well, I have to work tomorrow because I picked up a job. So I have a regular income. I'm not bleeding money anymore. But still lots of things to put in the ground and plants being propagated for sale and for reproduction, frankly. And I need a lot more. And by extension, they need a lot more. Because that's, how I roll. Alright, you guys. I don't know if you can see that. It's a very pretty sunset. There was a storm rolling through here just a little bit ago, so. But that looks like that's all the camera's going to pick up. You'll just have to come down. Bye.